Yes, it's 98-Year-Old Man, the podcast. Yes, here I am once again. Just came here to hang out with you. No, we're going to continue along the lines that I've been speaking as far as politics is concerned, expanding the size of the House, and me running for president because why not? I just want to bring some things to the foreground here, and I think it'd be a good idea. Now we go for the dramatic PBS lighting with the colored lights in front of us. We're not how do we say flattering? Yeah, there you go, flattering. And we're not flattering. So here I am now. I'm why you may know why I'm the 98-Year-Old Man. That's because somebody freebooted one of my TikTok posts and claimed I was the 98-Year-Old Man singing, sleeping, turning page by sleeping at last with the harpist. I was a 98-Year-Old Man. I'm not, but you know, I figured let's play on the clickbait, right? So anyway, the last when I last left you, I was running for president, not running for president, not quite sure. I've decided, yes, definitely, I'm going to do this. They have sour grapes laws in New Hampshire, so if you ran in the primary, you couldn't run in the general if you didn't win in the primary. The sour grapes laws. I like the whole idea of that. Anyway, so I have to run as an independent, which is fine. But in order to do that, I need 1,500 signatures in both each in each congressional district. Okay, so it's 3,000 signatures, and of course I have to meet the other criterion for being president. Being over 35, natural-born citizen of the United States, and all that good stuff. Yes, I'm all of those things, and so now I don't know what the plan is, but originally my plan was to take it's because I'm starting early. I'm starting a year before it actually really starts. Uh, the plan would be to work slowly and start at the top of the state and work my way down because the state's real skinny at the top, so I can hit a lot of things in there, and there might even be a golf course nearby because I think I need to incorporate that part of my retirement life into this political campaign. Now, some people might say, "Oh well, you're not serious. You're not spending the time that you need to be president. You have to know all these things." And it's like, no, you don't. You just have to know how to pick people that do know about all these things. You don't have to. You don't have to be the expert on everything. You can find experts. There's lots of them, and you find the ones you can work with, and that's what you do. But I have some ideas that I really want to move forward with. I have some criticisms of the recent budget put forth by the president. $6 trillion is some ridiculous sum. I mean, we only bring in about $2 trillion in revenue every year. So anything you spend over $2 trillion is deficit spending. And for them to say, no, but we're going to reduce the deficit over the next 10 years. Oh, yeah. How long are you going to be in office? 2 more years. Come on. Let's not be silly. Let's not be silly. But asking the government not to be silly is another thing entirely. But one of the provisions he wants to tax the rich, is to make the capital gains tax 40%. This would be the highest capital gains tax in the world, which means money's going to flee the country. Investments will flee the country because they don't want to pay 40% on that, on making an investment. It's ridiculous. Plus, now I don't know if Joe even was thinking about this because, when Joe started, it was all pensions and stuff. Hi, how you doing, The Chosen? So yeah, so it was all pensions and stuff back then. And now there's no more pensions. We all have 401ks. So he's essentially saying, okay, put your money away tax deferred in a 401k, which you're paying taxes of around 15% now, maybe. I don't know what you pay, but a rate somewhere near there. And, well, now we're going to tax you at 40% on the money you take out. So where's the incentive to put the money into the 401k? And what are you doing, Joe? These aren't rich people. This is everybody. Everybody who works for a big company has a 401k plan. So I don't know what you're thinking about with that kind of thinking. Oh, well, it's only going to be the rich people because they're the only ones who do that, who invest money. Oh, only rich people, only my friends. And yeah, no, you're wrong about that, buddy. You're wrong about that. And, it's the whole tax code thing. Oh, well, we have a tax code. It tells you how the taxes are done. No, it doesn't. It tells you how the taxes are avoided. The tax code is about how you don't have to pay for taxes, not about how we pay taxes. It could be really simple. I mean, it could just be a little table. Thank you very much. This is what you pay in taxes, guys. Everybody pony up, But no, we have different ways of looking at all kinds of taxes. Now, he's just threw a hose into it with all the solar credit thing. And it's like, okay, why don't we just give out some more money? I mean, we don't need to be giving out money for something, especially something that was going along fine. Electric cars were like, the industry was totally disrupted by Tesla, and uh, they didn't need any incentives. Believe me, they got plenty of incentives. They all looked and said, look at our car sales, and look at their car sales, and look at our car sales, and look at their margin, and look at their build quality, and look how they do these things, and look how fast they move, and how they change things. Like, you know, it's an incredible thing that's been going on in the industry, and I don't think it needed the little kick in the pants. Solar panels on people's roofs, yeah, that still needed a kick in the pants, but not. Not electric cars. And get them to buy the solar panels for their roofs, and then the electric cars would make more sense to them too. Anyway, but that's not the point. The point is running for president. Now, running for president, I think it costs $350 to do the registration, and then if you're going to have a committee, that's going to collect money, a campaign finance committee, then you got to register that, and I think that's $300 to do that, and some more paperwork, lots of paperwork, and then you can take campaign donations. I'm not so interested in donations as I am as meeting voters and saying, "Hey, vote for me, please," because these are things I believe in. Uh, I Over the last, I don't know, a couple of weeks, I've been away for a month down in Beaufort, South Carolina, for a film festival I go to every year, or as often as I can. The last 3 years, of course, COVID has been preventing gatherings of those sorts, or even making it advisable to travel like that. So anyway, I haven't been there for 3 years. I went this year. I was there down there. Well, it's a week long, and it took me a week to get down there, and it took me about a week to get back. So it's essentially 3 weeks. And February is essentially 3 weeks, 28 days. It goes by pretty quick. And of course, I started the birthday month with the day before my birthday with atrial fibrillation event, and went to the hospital and had an ablative procedure done inside my heart with a catheter, and then within a week I was headed down to South Carolina. So all in all, it's pretty eventful little period of time since my last podcast. And that was also the whole business about finding out how complicated it is to run for president, how much it costs. And getting the 1,500 signatures in each district is going to be an issue, but I think I can do it. I think I know enough people over the coast and enough people over in this region to get the 1,500 signatures I need. And I know a few people in politics, not a whole lot, but enough to say, hey, do you think you could find me some people that would just sign? Because they don't have to agree with you to sign. They just have to sign and say, yeah, did you let this guy run if he wants to run? Yeah, why not? And essentially, that's the way to approach this whole thing. Is that we have we are not well represented enough in the Congress. So we need to do something about that. When people talk about we need a new forms of government, I'm saying no, we don't. We just need to make this one work the way it's supposed to. With the checks and balances thing, all of that stuff. So that's what I would be promoting. That's rather than promoting a party, I would be promoting ideas that hey, we need to solve this problem. Here's the problem. We need to solve this problem. I need help from you guys because I can't spend money. I'd just be the president. The president just executes what the Congress wants, what the Congress builds. I'm also opposed to the fact that the presidency has gained so many uh, powers. It's been ceded a lot of powers by the Congress, and I think too many. So we need to address that too. But I was recently calculating that this size of the size of the New Hampshire House, or General Court as they call it. The House is 400 members, and I think there are 35 senators or 25 senators, I forget. I think it's 25. So our House is not as nearly as large as the House of Representatives in Congress. Now this means if you just do a straight divide into the population of New Hampshire, those 400 people, you end up with about 2,500 people per representative, and that's who they represent, which makes perfect sense. I mean, it's easy for one person to represent about 2,500 people. I think that's 2,500 registered voters. I actually was talking about citizens, so citizens, not registered voters. Registered voters is probably a lot smaller. Anyway, so based on that, and things in New Hampshire work well. Things can percolate slowly. It takes time to build coalitions. There is a strong Republican Democrat feel to it all, but it's still they all do their own work. The committees do their own work. They might have a research assistant or something, somebody to go get coffee and gather charts and compile papers, compile the numbers, do some research. But other than that, pretty much the general court does their own work. They don't have staff people go write bills. They write bills with other representatives. So that's what we need in our House of Representatives down in Washington. There are currently, they say, oh, there's only 435, and that's all we need. And some of them represent millions of people in a district. It's ridiculous to say that they're a representative of that many people. There's no way. No one can represent that many people. Not and be representative of all their views. And that's what we need in the House is we need the representation of all the views in the United States, not just two major framed views of the world. It's madness to go that way. So we raised the number. So and in actuality, it isn't just 435 people. It's the staffers that work for them. I'm going to say there's 8 to 10,000 people actually doing the work of Congress. And that's what I think it would be better to have them all elected. So we just change the enumeration back to what it was originally, one for every 30,000 or so. And we'd end up with a House between 8 and 10,000 members, a lot of members. But there's a way to make this work, and it's called bureaucracy. It's called politics, the art of governing, and in a way to organize the Congress so that the important people have seats in the actual well of the House, but everybody else they rotate in and around. The committee chairs, all of the important people. But that still leaves about 200, 300 seats that can be ad hoc, or assigned by the delegations as needed. When somebody needs to go down and speak in the well, they go down and speak in the well. But most of the time, all this stuff could be done online. This is a big Zoom meeting, you know what I'm saying? And so also to that they would do their own work instead of hiring a staff guy to do it. We would have an elected representative going to do that. Somebody who actually is interested in how this turns out. So this is part of what my candidacy for president will be about. It'll be about these unconventional ideas I'd like to put across, and that when people say we need a better government or we need a better system, I'm saying, well, no, I don't think we need a better system. I think we have a really good system that we haven't been neglected, and we've neglected to keep it working the way it's supposed to be working. And one of those things right now is having enough people representing us, because there aren't enough people representing us. If you say it's 435 plus the 10,000 staffers, they don't represent us because they're not elected, they're appointed. Staffers are appointed. It's a political job. It's a spoils system. So we need to we need to deal with that. I mean, the chief of staff at some of these offices is like cabinet level salaries. That's $250,000. You know, it gets a little expensive. It's not so expensive. It'd be more expensive to pay all of these representatives. The other thing is that if we have all these representatives, and we don't need to pay them $200,000 a year or whatever it is. I think they make 180 or 170, something like that. And there's a minimum too, and there's a minimum for the staff. So it might cost us a little bit more money to do it this way, but I'd rather spend the money on elected people than on unelected people, first of all. And second of all, to have more brains working on these things, because this is politics and policy are consensus things. If you don't have consensus, you can't get the votes to pass them. So that's the reason we want to have a lot of different people involved on this, so you can come to these, and sometimes you come to some brilliant consensus and compromise. So anyway, that's the point that I'm headed at tonight. I actually was going to talk a little bit about political comedians, especially late night political comedians these days, being messengers, being framers of political argument, and very much on one side and the other. And it's an uneven war the way it stands right now, as far as big media corporations outweighing, one versus seven. Ain't a fair fight. Anyway, it's also the business of framing itself. By framing an issue, you put things out of view. This is the frame. What's in frame is everyone sees. What's out of frame, everyone does not see. Even though what's out of frame may be the menacing Godzilla monster or something like that. And we're framing the argument so you don't see Godzilla. Oh, okay. Yeah. So this is an important thing to know, that this is a indoctrination technique. It's a propaganda technique. It's really amazing that we allow ourselves to be manipulated that way. But uh, we're manipulated in more ways than advertising. All of these things. They know so much about us, and they know exactly how to frame things so that we go along with it all. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to be running for president as soon as I file all the papers. I mean, and you can sign my petition if you're a registered voter in New Hampshire. Yeah, I need 1,500 from each district. That's the congressional districts. And I can put my name on the ballot because I'd like to do that. Yeah, no, I know I'm not 98. That's a clickbait title. I stole it from the people that clickbaited my a piece that they, what do you call that, freebooted from me, that I did with a harpist who did Sleeping at Last's Turning Page, the song. And so I sang with it. And I said, thank you. Thank you, Alexei. Alexei Dudley. It's a lovely name. So no, I'm not 98. They titled me the 98-year-old man sings, you know. And of course, people watch it because she talks for 30 seconds. The thing that's amazing to me is that this thing went that big. Millions of people watch this when the harpist talks for like 30 seconds before anything happens, before she starts to play. And then it's a little while before I get to make it come in. So it's this thing, exercise in anticipation, I guess, and people expecting, I don't know, to have me croak like a frog or something like that when it happens. But instead, I use in my head voice and and people are like, "Oh, I didn't expect that from that man, old bearded guy." So yeah, well, there you go. Books by their covers and all that good stuff. Your mother told you about that, don't you remember? Yeah. So anyway, I was going to talk about that. I haven't talked about it enough. The whole late night comedian, all that stuff. We'll get to that in the next podcast. But yeah, I'm running for president. So you're going to be vote for Bob. The New Hampshire primary will be upcoming in next year, actually. Technically, I don't have to have the things all filed until then. But I guess I can start the petition anytime I want, and I get to present it based on whatever the before the date is official. So as long as I present it, then that's done. It doesn't matter the particular time frame, as long as it's prior to the election that they get their signatures for the nomination. And I guess, I mean, maybe they have to check them and see if anybody died in the meantime, but I don't think that probably is relevant, though, isn't it? Anyway, so yeah, if you live in New Hampshire and you're a registered voter, well, I might be looking for your signature on a petition to say Bob can be on the ballot for president as an independent. I'll be running with Vermin Supreme, I guess. And that'll be fun too. Or maybe maybe we could have a debate. All right. Hey, thank you, Dante. Thanks for coming by. Alexa, thanks for loving my TikToks. I'll tell you, that's about it. I'm actually well over the 15 minutes that I normally set for a podcast. But I've been bad about all of them lately, so yeah. Love from Iran. Assalamu alaikum. Anyway, you all have a pleasant night. Remember that you are the unique you in the universe, the only you in the universe. No one's better at being you than you. And if no one's better at something than you are, that makes you the best. So if you want to be the best, just be you. I love you just the way you are. Try not to have too much fun without me. And remember what my mom always said. Play nice, okay? See ya.